I had the pleasure of working with Tracy. She has a group where she talks about gardening. It's called Gardeners Grow Together. It's super amazing, but we talked about plants that help with pests. And so this can either detract bad pests or attract good pests that are going to fight our battles for us. So I wanted to share with you all the tips and tricks. So definitely watch till the end so you learn all about them. And I'm going to tag her group. And I also have a group too about plants and herbs and anything that you want to know about how it can benefit you and obviously the pests around you. So I would love to have you and just check that out down below.
Okay, so welcome to my, I think, second live Zoom here on my Gardeners Growing Together community. Welcome to everybody who's joining us live here tonight and anybody joining on the replay. Glad you are here watching. So I have Mary Heather Fajardo. Did I pronounce your last name good?
Fajardo, but
Fajardo, sorry.
it's fine.
A member of our community. You've probably seen her in many of our conversations, and she also has her own community journey on Nature's Path. And I got a little bio here. So Mary's has nearly 15 years of experience, right? Exploring the benefits of herbs and native plants, gardening, and you like to blend traditional knowledge with practical science to help others reconnect on nature and discover the everyday uses of plants for nourishment, care, and self-reliance. So I asked her to come on tonight because I wanted to talk about herbs in our garden and flowers and how we can use those to help benefit our vegetables and other things we're growing in our garden to prevent pests and to just help them grow better. So as we kind of know, there are lots of great herbs out there that do that kind of thing. They're not just great for eating and great for medicinal, but they also help other plants in our garden. So with that, I'm just going to turn it over to you, Heather, to give us some information on that.
Okay, thank you so much, Tracy. Yes, I love gardening. I love using herbs, plants, and I've done the gamut from, just using vegetables, and I quickly realized that herbs were necessary to help the with all the pests that you're going to come up with. There's so many different things you can use when you're gardening to help benefit your plants. But if you have more knowledge um, about the different plants, then that can help each other. That's really going to give you a better garden overall. Can you guys see this? The PowerPoint? Yes. Okay. So of course, when she came to me, I really thought that this would be, one of the things that I suggested that I was like, this might really go with what your group is. There are so many herbs that naturally just have been used historically as well as now we have done actually the research that have told us why they're good. So I wanted to start out with basil because this is one that we use every day in our, salads and our spaghetti dishes. But it's also um, known to help with caterpillar control. And that was one thing that I always had a hard time with my brassicas. Those caterpillars wanted to just munch it. And so this was actually with a topical application of the essential oil. Basil was able to help. There are two specific type of caterpillars, and I'm gonna let you guys read them because I'm not a big words girl. So I like to know them, but I, can't pronounce them very well. So I will let you guys read them. It's that first one. But those two types of caterpillars that are found in your vegetable garden. And if you want to take a screenshot, you're welcome to. But Also, it's known to help with aphids, and this is really great along like eggplants to help with aphids on them, as well as it increases the effectiveness of lacewing. And so lacewings are a natural predator for aphids. And so if you see a lacewing in your garden, keep that guy. He is good. Um, can you see the text? I don't know. Am I like blocking the text at all? No? Yes. Am I blocking it?
I can see pretty much most of it.
Okay. I'm like, I don't know where I should be. Should I be on this side?
Go that way.
This way? That side?
Yeah,
Like that?
that's better.
Okay. Okay. I was like, I just thought about that. I was like, oh, I'm on here. So you probably like, I don't know. All right. So, and then I did add mosquitoes because that's one thing, even though we don't really need it for our plants, that's so irritating to be out in the garden and have mosquitoes flying around you. And it also helps with flies. So it's been noted for its ability to help with mosquitoes and flies. It can kill the mosquito eggs, the essential oil again, um, and and also for just a mosquito repellent. Um, so yeah. The next one is rosemary. And so this is a very potent taste. If you guys have ever tasted rosemary, I know Dennis said he does not like rosemary. But you don't have to just eat it. You can actually plant it near your thing, near your other plants to help with carrot flies. They do not like the scent of rosemary. And so carrot flies are just going to fly away. And so you don't have to worry about those. So if you're putting carrots right by your rosemary, that's going to be a perfect for them. Now cockroaches also don't like the scent. So if you've got cockroaches inside in your garden, wherever, you can use that essential oil to get rid of those around your or those cockroaches around the things that you don't want them near. And so then also mosquitoes are also do not like it very much. I would recommend to pair it with citronella, but you don't have to. The studies say you don't have to at all. But because, they don't like to bite around anything um, or the rosemary. And then slugs. So they because they have that soft body, they avoid the smell of rosemary. Now, personally, this is something that I researched, and they said that slugs and snails don't like it. And I have noticed there's a little bit less around the plants, but it's a very small perimeter. So it's not like, you're probably going to have to plant quite a few rosemary plants. I have four, and they're babies, but. And we'll see as they get bigger if that will change. So it just well, I'll keep you guys updated on that. But as of right now, I still do see slugs around them, but not as much as around like okay, so I have a bed on one side and a bed that has all four of them. And the one that doesn't have the rosemary has a bunch of slug damage, and the one right where the rosemary is, there's not as much. So, I mean, something to take note of. It's not going to cure all, but planting it is good. So, another thing to plant them by are beans, peas, or lettuce. Um, so, yeah, so that's that one. Rosemary. Lavender is beautiful. I love lavender. I just love the way it looks. I have a variegated lavender too, and I'm loving that one. But it's also been used for centuries. It's also it has or because of its fragrance. Um, it was hung in doorways and in windows, and stuffed in drawers and scattered in storage areas to help with moss and fleas and pantry pests. So, like, things we don't want around, like mice and things like that. Without a refrigerator, it would help with cleaning, and it was, it benefited in a lot of ways. Also in Europe, it was used in rituals to help with evil spirits, and then likely, oh yeah, and then it's also helped with the cleanliness, safety, and spiritual protection. So that's what the medieval believes. And in the Renaissance, it became a domestic favorite. It was used for air fresheners and prized to keep insects out of the homes, especially moths. So again, I mean, in history, we're seeing in almost every era, we're seeing that lavender was used. But fast forward to now, we are seeing that lavender essential oils and sprays and salves helps repel mosquitoes, moths, and flies. So again, I'm not big on big words. There is, I think it's linalool. I think that's what it said, and linal something. Linalool. Um, but those are the active ingredients that help keep those pests away. Um, so you, so yeah, yeah, I like that. I love lavender anyways. I like to have it around. So thyme, people have turned to thyme for more than just a flavor. Actually, they used it in medieval times to get rid of like venomous creatures. So this could be snakes or spiders or things like that. Um, and they also would burn it in their homes. So I thought that was interesting. In the medieval, they would scatter it along the floor to deter crawling insects. And they also made an infusion of vinegar and applied it to the skin to as a like a insect repellent back in the Middle Ages. And today we know that thyme works because of the Thyme, thymol is the actually active ingredient that helps, and is a powerful component, especially in an essential oil. It's antimicrobial and it's an insecticidal properties. So also so it can repel mosquitoes, hornworms, whiteflies, maggots and larvae. So if you're having any of those, like hornworms, I know for tomatoes are really bad. Mosquitoes, it smells way better than DEET. I definitely don't like DEET, the smell of it. And then, maggots, if you're, say you are doing compost and you're having, maybe some extra larvae and maggots, you could maybe put that in there on the top of it if that's, what we're seeing. But also, um, if you bruise the leaves a little bit, like what in your garden, so this is the actual live plant. If you bruise the leaves, then it's going to help the neighboring plants because it'll like the smell will come out a little bit more. Rosemary and lavender kind of already have that potent smell, but thyme kind of needs you to crunch it up a little bit. And then so you can plant it beside your tomatoes, cabbage, strawberry, lettuce, to create more of a low maintenance pest control. And then it does say that you need to dilute the essential oil with a carrier oil before applying it to your hands. So keep that in mind. And never ingest it without professional guidance. I would say that with every single essential oil you need to be careful with for sure. So mint in the garden. So this is one of my personal favorites. I love mint. I have it all over the garden. And but the thing is that it is super invasive. You shouldn't put it in your garden beds like I do. I do it, but the thing is that it will kind of take over and you really have to control it. So you have to be very vigilant in pulling it up and making sure it doesn't get in the places that you don't want it to get into. Um, but that being said, um, it's a natural repellent for pests and it drives away aphids, carrot root flies, onion flies, and tomato hornworms. So they do not like mint, which I have never seen. No, okay, I take that back. I've seen one tomato hornworm. I've grown tomatoes for years. I don't know if this is the reason. I always do marigolds too, but I very rarely see them. And my neighbor across the way, he sees them over in his garden. So, take that for what you will. There's so many different variables, but that's my experience. Um, but it also may give a flavor boost to you know, to tomatoes, eggplants, and peppers. Sorry. And then it may help with slugs and snails, while mint alone helps deter pairing it with stinging nettle, which I was thinking about adding that to my garden anyway. So adds a perfect protection against the soft bodies pest. I do have a slug problem, if you can tell. So, okay. Okay, so I did want to put, some companion plants. So tomato hornworm, oh, so tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, carrots, cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, marigolds, um, because so the marigolds help um, attract beneficial and repel the pests. So it's not helping the marigolds as much as the pair goes well together. Roses, you've got aphids and beetles for the roses, collard greens, aphids, beetles and caterpillars, the stinging nettle, and then again, those two work together to help with the snails and slugs. Basil shares sunlight and water, so they're similar. Nasturtiums can attract pollinators and is a crop for aphids. So if anyone has a ton of aphids that attack your garden, nasturtium is good for a trap crop, which we'll get to in a minute. I did do nasturtium too. Um, chives, lettuce, um, beets, and peas. All right. So chives. I love chives because I love their like pretty little purple flowers, which I never really realized because when you get them in the store, they're just these green sticks. But I love the purple flowers that come out of the chives. And I heard that if you eat them when they're young, they're actually a tasty treat. I've never had them, but I've heard that they're really mild oniony flavor. But the aromatic barrier, so the smell of them, um, because it's rich in sulfur, um, it can prevent pests like slugs. Um, and let's see, it's also noticed, or gardeners have also noticed chives to deter aphids, carrot flies, and Japanese beetles. And so they do not like the smell, and it also confuses them. So putting those chives out is a good way for them to kind of be more confused. So if you have a plant that is attacked more by any of these, then companion planting is great. And so it also helps like putting them beside roses to keep aphids at bay. without needing like a chemical spray. Um, you can also defend the soil um, because it suggests that chive roots will release a component that suppresses nematodes. Okay, this is more like Dennis's area, but um, the tiny destructive pests that attack you underground. And then natural interrupters, chives also they don't just repel, but they also disrupt pest behavior. So their intents they override the signal for pests to find there. So basically the same thing. Anyways, and why does that matter? It offers a sustainable chemical-free way to protect the garden. Okay, so garlic is very similar with that pungent smell. But it was used in the Egyptian times and the Romans. And so to help with pests. Okay. So the strong smell is the reason. The allicin is the component that pests hate. And so it blocks a scent that attracts bugs like aphids, ants, and spider mites. Um, it also kills and fights fungal infections. Um, it says it's a natural pest control in one clove. But it's an eco-friendly way. It's cheap, safe, for pollinators, and it pairs well with tomatoes, roses, and peppers. So bottom line, garlic isn't just for dinner, it's for defense. Okay, so nasturtium, that's one I had just talked about. It is a a trap crop. So it traps those aphids. But it also repels because of its ISO, I don't know. Yeah. So you can look at that one or take a screenshot if you want to. But that's the component that helps with pests. It helps with cucumber beetles, cabbage, loopers, and worms, squash bugs, and Colorado potato beetles. Interesting. Um, I didn't see the Colorado potato beetles. But the scent masks the crops and it makes it harder for them to find the veggies again. Yeah, a trap crop for aphids, flea beetles, and white flies. So it's a kind of a decoy plant. So if you're one of those people that does not like anything that's like gonna die on you or gonna, suffer, then it might not be for you because there is gonna be quite a bit of damage from these flea beetles and aphids and white flies. But if you keep it maintained, you can have a beautiful plant as well because it's such a vigorous grower. You can just chop off those pieces that are getting and sometimes in the middle of the year, I'll just like pull it all out and be like, okay, I'm done with you. You're too taken over. I can't deal with it anymore. Um, but uh, it also is good for attracting ladybugs, which we know are good for attacking aphids, lacewings, and hoverflies. Um, so they're like kind of our defense, against the dark arts. And so feverfew is another one. This one I feel like is less talked about. So I did want to throw that in there. We know, well, maybe we don't, but people have used this for a long time for migraines, headaches, but it's also good for repelling, or it's been used in for centuries. Even the Cherokee used it to keep pests away. So how does it work? So I'm gonna let you look at that. The philorithins are what you guys probably know how to pronounce that better than I do. But it's the natural insecticides that are toxic to many pests. And it's similar to this other one there. They have a strong scent, citrusy and bitter aroma that's unpleasant to moths, flies, cockroaches, mosquitoes, and ants. You can plant them near roses for aphids. Um, uh, you can scatter them across the floor to keep bugs away in your home. But also the blooms are made into an insect repellent and sprayed um, to soothe bug bites. Um, so they did use it internally as well. In But today we know that it repels because of that component, and modern studies have seen pest reduction. It may help alongside reliable methods in your garden. Okay, so here's another one. I love mugwort. I love the way it smells. I use it for like sleep a lot. But it has been historically the Romans used it for soldiers. They would put it in their boots when they were on long marches. That would help repel the pests from getting on them or in their shoes. And so I thought that was really interesting. But now we know that these three components here are the reason why it works. It helps repel those mosquitoes, disrupt the insect nervous system, and it's a mild fungament, fung, fum, fum, fungent. And so it targets actually, it targets the mosquitoes that have dengue fever in them, which I'm not sure how that works, but um, it is actually used more for those type of mosquitoes as well. But it also helps repel them. And then it repels red beetles and moth and weevil species. But okay, so I did want to mention it is very similarly invasive as mint. It is not in the mint family. It's actually in the Acacia, the daisy family. But so it's not in the mint family, but it spreads similar. It's not, or it's very thick and dense. Um, when I was pulling it out of my garden, because I put it in my garden. It was pretty dense, but as soon as I took that top layer off, it was easy to get out. So I did make a little chart, and I can send this over to you to kind of add to the community if you want. I don't know if you can see this chart. Um, Hold on, let me see if I can stop like seeing me so you can see the chart. Well, okay, that's not too bad, right? Okay, I'm small on the bottom, right? Okay, so so this is just kind of a overall, this is what they're good for, and what we can really what each one is good for. So if you're like, oh, I have flies, I know that basil, feverfew, garlic, and lavender can help, and maybe yeah, those three. So I just wanted to provide that little chart for you guys. All right. So that's all I've got for you. Um, Anyone have any questions?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Something I was wondering about is proximity to what you're trying to protect. Does it need to be like within a certain distance? Because I do have, a variety of herbs in one garden bed, but how
Yeah,
radius of protection do they give?
yeah, I do think that there's a different radius depending on the different herbs, but I would say the closer the better. So if you're like, if you know that you have a problem with certain pests, then I would plant them near that plant within a pretty close proximity. Yeah, each one is a little bit different though.
I do plant my nasturtiums near my tomatoes. It's at the front
Mm.
of my flower bed. They're beautiful. They flow over the front and they look great. And then I don't know what time of year, maybe end of July, they just get bombarded by those fleas.
Yes.
You just, like you say, you feel really bad, but they really work for attracting those away from your tomatoes for sure. That's been a really good defense mechanism I've used. So yeah, if you can handle the abuse and the painful deaths they go through.
Yes, yes. I'm like, I can see some people it wouldn't work for them because they need that beautiful garden. Like, they don't want anything to look like it's dying or whatever. So I could see somebody being like, nah, I'm not gonna do nasturtium. But
Yeah,
it does work for that trap crop.
yeah, I
So
def end up pulling them out too, because they start to die off, but yeah.
and actually borage is another one that's supposed to be a trap crop for aphids as well. I didn't put that one on there. Um, I was running out of time, but I was like, that's another good one. And then another good one for mosquitoes that I love is beautyberry. I just love the way it looks. I love the way it's a bush, it's bigger. And you
Is it a
can use
perennial?
the, huh?
Sorry, is it a perennial or is it an annual that you have to plant every year?
It's a perennial here. I don't know what up to what zone. Let me
Oh,
look.
probably not here. What did you call it? What did you
Um,
oh,
huh? What is it?
sorry, what did you call it? Beauty berry?
It's called Beautyberry.
I never heard of it.
It's through 7 to 11.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so not you, right? What are you for?
I have
3,
just about 3.5.
3. Okay. Man. Oh, phew.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we have a lot of perennials that do grow through the winter, so it's just you just got to know which ones those are.
yeah.
I
And
plant.
now it will reseed itself, so it might be something that, but those are going to be like super small, So it's a bush. It gets pretty big, but I don't know how big they would get in one growing season. Um, but I mean, they're beautiful. I just love them. But yeah.
And yeah, alyssum is another thing that I have growing amongst my potatoes. That's supposed to be I'm not sure what it's doing, can't remember, but I just know that you're supposed to grow it around potatoes, but I can't remember I don't know if you know what if
No,
it's,
I've never heard of alyssum being an insect repellent. That's interesting.
uh,
I've never really grown it. My mom loves to grow it.
yeah,
But
I always used it as a filler in just my pots, but yeah, I've read that it's a good companion in your potatoes. I'm not sure if it's repelling anything or if it's adding something or attracting something. I can't remember what it does, but
okay.
yeah.
That will be prettier too, because I mean, the potatoes they have those beautiful flowers, but they're like very
Yeah,
sparing, very small amount. And so it will be nice to have a little flowers in there with it. So I might have to do that.
yeah, that marigold I like to say it adds a little color and
Hmm.
prettiness to your potato patch. So
And zinnias too. I feel like everyone plants zinnias and cosmos, and those also are beneficial. I can't remember exactly how. Those and sunflowers. So all of those that are naturally like you can go to a farmer's market and you can see here's all the plants that you're gonna garden, tomato, whatever, and then here's also the zinnias, the cosmos, and the marigolds. Like usually those are all there because there's a reason for that. People know that they help with
go there.
pests in your garden.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No. No, it's great. It's a wonderful way to garden and like I say, a natural way of controlling and
Mhm.
avoiding some of those. When you were talking about essential oils at the beginning, as opposed to planting the plant, is there like a foliar spray that you sometimes make with certain essential oils that you would spray?
Yeah, that would be a foliar spray. And yeah, and you would want to use that's a good question. I'm gonna have to look that up.
What you
I
mix it
don't
with?
remember I don't remember how they were using that.
Okay. Well, we'll find
I'll
out
have
and
to
we'll
look for
share it
it.
in the community.
Yeah, I'll
Get
share that.
or something. Yeah. Good.
Yes.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was very informative. I, learned about a few more and then I'm sitting here thinking in the back of my mind, could I run and buy that still out of the greenhouse somewhere?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
because I've got
I
more.
feel like most of your pungent or like really smelling herbs are gonna be good for pests because it's like, well, they can't smell it. If they can't smell it, they can't find it, you know? So a lot of those are pretty good for pests. Like
Yeah, I
even,
realize I don't have rosemary out in my garden. So I love the smell of it. So I think
hmm
make one more trip, get a few more
yeah.
plants in here.
Yeah, I had rosemary for 3 years. It lasted. Had snow on it. It was like ice and snow on it, and it survived. And then it was like warming up, and we had a cold snap, and that's what killed it. I'm like, it made it through the winter, like the winter
Of,
ice.
being at
But I
dormancy or something and then come out of
yes,
and then it's
I
weak.
think that's what happened.
That's what happened to my garlic this spring. It came up in my garden bed and was looking okay. And then we had a frost one morning and it all turned yellow and it all
Oh no.
died. And I'm like, garlic, it's supposed to be tough.
Hardy, yeah, yeah,
No, was pretty sad about that, but sometimes
yeah,
just can't make it through some of these things. So,
yeah.
yeah. Okay, well, I don't know if Jim's still there. I know Dennis had to go eat supper and
hmm
yeah, my husband's waiting inside for his supper. Pick a good time for doing these lives that works for other people's time zones. So, kind of feeling out what a good time is for everybody, but it's hard to, when you got people in your community all over the world, you never know what
Yeah.
middle of the night for some people. So, um,
Well, and you have the replays too for a reason. People can always look at those. I've had several people look at the replays as well. So,
yeah. Okay. Well, I'm just going to wrap it up and say goodbye and turn off the recording. So thank you again, Mary Heather, for
mhm.
giving us that
Anytime.
helpful information. Again, Mary's community is called Journey on Nature's Path. You also have a YouTube channel, same name, Journey on
Yep.
Nature's Path. Okay. So I will make sure I leave those links in the description box or somewhere so that people can find you and follow you. And yeah, I love this way we can kind of collaborate and share information with each other in our community and really appreciate you taking out time to do that here tonight.
Yeah. Anytime. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Good
Yep,
evening.
thank you so much.
Yep. Bye,
Jim.
Jim.